this is not your typical story. This is not your typical story about your typical Christian. This is not the typical Christian testimony. And I want to tell the whole world about my story with God, with Jesus Christ, and all of the glory that He has given to me, and all of the strength. God has been in my life ever since I've accepted God into my life. Ever since I've done that, my life hasn't been the same. So the way I'm going to do this is through, I guess, a part series, because it would be impossible and too drawn out to tell my entire story with God in one video. So where should I start? I think I'm going to start with when I was younger, when I didn't know about God, and what actually brought me to God, what brought me close to God. So when I was younger, my mother, we're Jamaican. It's pretty customary for you to send your children to church when you're growing up. It's just a part of growing up. If you grow up as a traditional Jamaican child, your parents will take you to church. However, going to church is not just going to church like that as a child. That doesn't, just going to church alone, it doesn't bring you to God alone, in my opinion. Yes, it will expose you to Him. It will do that. But for me personally, as a kid, I was just going to church, just going to Sunday school, just almost as something to do on a Sunday. But what brought me to Him, I guess, is when my mother, when she got diagnosed with a rare form of breast cancer. And I was really young. I was probably in the 10th or 11th grade. I was probably in 10th or 11th grade at that time, and I was still young. I was in high school. And they always say that when you're at your lowest, or when you have no one else to call on, you're gonna call on God. And let me tell you something, that is completely true. Because I remember one night I went outside and I looked up in the sky and I said, God, if you're real, please save my mom. Please give me a sign. Ladies and gentlemen, my mother went to 7 different doctors. 7, and remember that number, 7. Went to 7 different doctors, and all of them told her that she was okay. It's on the 7th one, because my mother knew that 7th doctor, where she was like, alright, I see that you're a bit paranoid, so let me just check you, because it was a rare form. Right? It's not something that everybody else has. It was actually called Paget's disease. So if anybody wants to actually look up what that is. And she got through it, we caught it early, and God forbid it ever comes back, But it was so long ago. But just because of the events of what happened, it's hard to explain to you. Maybe because it was hard to explain, maybe because I was that young too. But just having faith in God, that's when I knew that God was real. That's when I knew He was real. And then ever since then, I've prayed to Him. And things that I've prayed to him have actually come true. As cliche as it might sound, or as a fairy tale as some people may say, but trust me, it's not. You know, I tell you to remember the number 7 because I was studying law, and because of a lot of ups and downs in my life, you know, a lot of ups and downs. I tell you, I was studying in Barbados, and I actually just got sick one day and had to go into the hospital, you know, and I had to watch my friends from undergrad leave me and go to actual law school, which wasn't a good feeling at all. The feeling of being left behind, you know. But God always just looked out for me. I always prayed to him. I always believed in him, because faith is believing in God, and you can't talk about faith to someone who thinks logical, because really and truly, when you think about it logically, it doesn't make sense. So, but you cannot think about it, and that's the point of faith. You have to just trust in God that He's going to do it. That He's going to give you what you ask for. And I don't remember the Bible verse, but I think it's somewhere in Mark 11. I really don't remember. He said, ask for anything. He said, ask everything that you want, down to the biggest to the smallest thing, ask for it. Trust me, I do it. Even if I'm going to a shopping center and I want parking, I pray to God for parking. And most times, 90% of the times, there's parking. I don't think I'm necessarily a super lucky person. I've never won the lottery or won anything like that, really. You know what I mean? Like, God, you know, when you have God in your life, you know, it's almost like, this might sound very contradictory, but I mean, I told you that it's not a typical Christian testimony. When I was younger, I used to play a game called Grand Theft Auto, and maybe some people listening to this know exactly what I'm talking about. And in that game, I mean, my mother used to hate it because she used to think it was so ungodly, but you know, as kids, you know, we still played it. And in the game, you used to have cheat codes, and the cheat codes would give you unlimited life and give you unlimited weapons and give you for the game and whatever you wanted. But when you played the game without the cheat codes, it was hard. Like, the game was legitimately hard when you didn't have cheat codes. Working with, when God is in your life, it's like you playing the game with cheat codes, because you can't die. You'll always be doing, you always get what you want. But if you don't, you're gonna live a hard life, right? And you know, and I mean, and that's why I say that this is a multiple part series as to what God has actually done in my life, because, ladies and gentlemen, He has done too much. And you see, the thing is that I want to be, and I guess later on in the series, I want to be more specific as to what I'm talking about, because I want to impact somebody. I want to impact people who think that they have to be a certain person to go to church or something like that. No. I tell you, the type of person who I am, or who I was really, I was always at parties. My cousin's a popular DJ in Jamaica. So really and truly, I get into all parties free, or most of them. And, you know, that I'm around that type of influence. I'm around that type of influence, and it's just to know that, you know, that's where I'm coming from, and you know where I am now. You see a lot of people make testimonies about how they've changed their lives. Like, I mean, I think the most recent one that really I guess that really took my mind was, I guess, Lady Saw. That Lady Saw had converted, and those things are real. I really honestly believe her, because trust me, you go through a lot of things in life, and when you really check it out, you know, when you really check it out, it's not the way of the Lord. But if you're interested in my life and what I want to tell the world, and I mean, maybe this first video isn't that impressive. Maybe that first video is not that impressive to tell you to convince you to subscribe to this channel. Maybe it's not that convincing yet. But trust me, it will be. Because I have a lot of stories that can help a lot of people. Never ever ever give up. Never ever give up. Always go for what you want. And if it is for you, whereas if you ask God for it, it's gonna be yours. And it's going to be handed to you. And not even on a silver platter, on a gold platter. Believe me when I tell you this, people. Believe me when I tell you that God is an amazing God. Trust me. People from all over the world praise God. We can't all be stupid. We can't all be stupid and not worship and not doing the right thing. As some people would think that God is not real, or it doesn't make sense to worship God because it's not proven that He's alive. And that's the whole point of faith. But ladies and gentlemen, if you want to change your life, or if you want to just live a different life, like and subscribe to this channel and listen to the rest of my stories, because I have a lot of stories in store for you guys, where, boy, I've been put down so many times, and trust me, God has even saved my life. God has saved my life, because trust me, I was on a destructive path one time. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, like, share and subscribe. I'm out.